Good morning. Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for subscribing, watching, viewing, commenting, everything. I struggled a bit with this video because I have to be very cautious about what I say, and I have to be very cautious about how I say it. With that being said, this should serve as an informational little nugget in your pocket about how dangerous it can be here in the Philippines. And keep in mind, this type of stuff happens in every country, and it happens everywhere. And some of what we're going to discuss today is not even proven yet. Some of it's just allegations, but it looks so damaging. So let's talk about it. Okay, now I want to talk to you about it's maybe a form of organized crime. It may be whatever you want to call it, but it is truthfully something that just simply says, don't get involved in stuff far outside of your wheelhouse. You know, as we all see these YouTubers about and YouTube channels and expats and people talking about involving and immersing themselves in Filipino culture. Well, this is a culture you may want to certainly keep your way around. Now, let's start off with just the headlines, okay? Search for missing Sabangeros remains, make major breakthrough with discovery of a sack full of blackened remains. Wow. Now, this has been all over the news the past week, and it's getting deeper and deeper. And all of a sudden, it's starting to become something that, and to this point, and I need to make sure you understand, at this point, there's nothing that says that any of this is actually founded yet. But this involves law enforcement. It involves big political names. It involves highly placed business individuals, or the allegations of all of that, none of which have been proven. I will put that out there right now. So we're going to continue here. So, you know, what is this really about with Sabangeros? Well, Sabangeros, it is a culture. Remember we talked about how you immerse yourself in the culture? This is a culture in the Philippines, and it is not something we've ever participated in. I've never been to one of these events, and I'm never going to go to one of these events. It's something that I just simply don't find interesting or appealing, or, you know, you can place your morals wherever they want to be, but it's a tradition and a culture. Sabong is deep roots in the Philippines history, predating colonial times, deeply intertwined with cultural events and community gatherings. It's very normal. It's cockfighting. It's betting on the demise of an opponent when two chickens are faced off with each other, and they are not chickens but roosters. Okay, see, that shows you how little I really know. It's actually roosters. I guess chickens are one thing and roosters are another. But they're either incapacitated or unalived, one or the other. It is a billion-dollar industry in the Philippines, and it is regulated, so they say. I don't know, but it is not without controversy. Well, how did this next move on? And I'll tell you what happened. It's electronic sabong, or e-sabong, as defined as an online or remote or off-site wagering betting on live matches, events, and or activities streamed and broadcast from arenas that are licensed and authorized. Now, I might have a little bit of difficulty with that because a large number of these events take place in small community gatherings, but they're large also. In fact, our home in Mindanao is about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes from Butuan, halfway between Surigao City and Butuan. And when we go to Butuan to go shopping, we pass one of these places. And if we pass it at a certain time on a certain day, it's filled. The cars, the scooters, the PUVs, the jeepneys, the multi-cabs, they're lined up and down the road for a mile. And the place has a huge parking area. I would venture to say that it would not be uncommon to see 500 to 1,000 participants out there. So what's been happening here? Well, we've got that, and all of a sudden we've got these accusations, okay? And they all center right now around Lake Tahal. Now, Lake Tahal is about 50 miles south of the NCR, Manila area. Okay? It's a beautiful area. Barry in the Philippines, Barry in the PI lives up there in Lake Tahal. It has an active volcano, so it's in the news quite a bit. It's always rumbling and spitting out ash and on the verge of a major explosion, but it's there. All right? It's very famous for a soup, I guess is the best word for it. A local delicacy. It's actually excellent. Arlen and I have been there. It's a really nice spot. So, who are these? What's going on here? You're asking. Well, here's the deal. In 2021, 34 individuals, sabongeros, people that are involved in this sport. Is that the best word for it? I guess, maybe, I don't know. But 34 of them were reported missing, okay? They all come from the Laguna, Batangas, Bulacan, Manila, Rizal, all from the general area. And this is all on the big island of Luzon, all right? How big is this online business? Well, daily active players in 2022, 6,000 to 7,000. Around 200 matches, I guess that's the best way to put it, are daily. Fights that are streamed daily. You have to be 21 to bet, wager. It's a multi-billion peso outlay. Now, I can tell you this. After pandemic, right up the street from here, and then in a couple of more areas right around, and that's here in Angeles, a couple of places that we knew of, a couple of stores or storefronts, all right, all of a sudden were converted from merchandise to betting parlors where they would just hold maybe 5 to 10 people, but it was online. They were streaming the matches and you could bet on them. And then you could learn. Now, you could just go online and bet. You didn't have to go live. And for various reasons, it was a big deal. Now, that's eventually been shut down. We haven't seen one of these online places, and I think these online stores are all shut down. And online betting on this has been shut down, I think, to the best of my knowledge. But so what's been happening here? Well, there have been some reports, Okay? So between April 2021 and January, at least 34 Isabang enthusiasts went missing. Okay? Then there's a whistleblower. And I'll let you read that. I'm not even going to mention his name. And he claimed that the number of missing could be much higher, as many as 100 people. And that really doesn't surprise me, because crime doesn't get reported in the less populated areas. You know, a lot of this is very rural. You're not going to see these arenas in major cities downtown. All right. And I'll let you read the rest of that. But it has been a big deal. Now, there's been a Senate inquiry. There's currently a Senate inquiry. And something we should point out is that no remains directly linked to the missing Sabangueros have been found in Lake Tahal itself. Now, why the focus on Tahal? Well, here's the deal. First off, currently, there are Philippine Coast Guard specialty divers. They are now investigating, and they are starting to scour, because this whistleblower has said, hey, not only are they in the lake, they were dumped in the lake. It says that these individuals were in a specific area. I mean, this whistleblower has some quote unquote highly detailed information. This is something, as an expat, as a foreigner, you don't want to be involved in. All right? Immersing yourself in the local culture can be hazardous. Some of the cultures are not something you want to mess with. Now, first on the 10th, I think it was, they found a sack right offshore. It was like 75 feet offshore. I'm leaving the headlines up so that you can Google them, because I'm not going to go into depth about it. But that's just all there is to it. Now, we go to the next one, and as of yesterday, all of a sudden the news came out, because they only started searching the day before. And as of yesterday, now they have multiple sacks. All right? And there are multiple sacks with bones that have not had DNA testing yet. There's no link. We don't know if these are human or animal or whatever officially. All right? But now there's multiple sacks. So they've actually called in the Japanese, are bringing in ROV, remote operated vehicles, underwater vehicles. They've laid out a grid pattern. They've done everything. They are now going full blast. They are investigating individuals. They're investigating agencies. They're investigating a lot of stuff. But aside from all that, I mean, you can do all of that research yourself. You truly can. But what we're getting at here is that, you know what? Every country can be dangerous. Look at what happens in the United States. Look at what happens in the UK. Look at what happens everywhere across the world. All kinds of stuff. I've got a fan on right now, and it's blowing my shirt. Okay? All of these things. You know, it can be dangerous, and you don't want to get involved in that kind of stuff. When you start looking into the darker side of cultures, sometimes it's best to leave that up to others, to leave that up to citizens, to leave that up to people that don't have something as much as risk as you may have. You know, going to these things, I guess it's probably maybe no different than the bullfights in Spain or other countries. But at the same time, now you added gambling into it. Now you've added, you've just starting to cross some major thresholds. And these are dangerous things. We encourage you to be very careful. Now, we're going to continue to watch this, and I don't know whether we'll continue to report on it, but we may at least update it down the road. But it is something that's concerning. It's very concerning. And if indeed some of these allegations are true, it is an actual visible, tangible look at the underside, the dark belly of any culture. Doesn't matter that it's the Philippines, any culture at all. And happens everywhere. No country is secure from this, from organized violence, from mayhem. It happens everywhere. And we would encourage you to be very careful, especially. Secondarily to that, we'd love to hear what you think about it. Please do comment. Please do subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. That really helps us with the algorithm. And then more than anything, we hope you have a safe and great day. Thanks so much.